Billionaires are buying up a ton of farmland across the country. In 2020, Bill Gates made headline for becoming the largest private farmland owner in the United States, accumulating over 270,000 acres across 18 states in less than a decade. Jeff Bezos have a mix of just regular land and farmland and has accumulated over 420,000 acres in recent years. Warren Buffett has famously stated that if you said for a 1% interest in all the farmland in the United States, pay our group $25 billion, I'll write you a check this afternoon. Is this just another investment opportunity where billionaires can park their funds and get a return on their investment? Or is this more of a power control move to control the supply of food around the world? There has been whispers of food shortages with the supply issues going on and wars going on, and seeing the elite purchasing up farmland. Do we have a reason for concern? In today's video, we're going to talk about what billionaires are actually doing with farmland, why are they buying farmland, and if there's anything that we can do or even invest in farmland. Be sure to like this video. I would love to know your comments down below. Subscribe for some awesome content around the real estate market, personal finance, and the economy as a whole. Let's first talk about why farmland is so important. Will Rogers, the 20th century American humorist, once stated, "Buy land, they ain't making any more of the stuff." See, when you have an asset that cannot be reproduced, such as gold, that asset becomes extremely valuable. Farmland provides vital ingredients to our everyday food like corn, soybeans, rice, and potatoes. It is not like it's just regular land, but it's land that produces a vital human necessity, food. These things make farmland such a great investment, even having better returns than the stock market. Unlike the stock market that fluctuates up and down, farmland is a little bit more consistent and stable across the board because whether the economy is high or low, people need to eat. According to research from Farm Together, an investment platform that allows qualified investors to purchase stakes in U.S. farmland, farmland averaged roughly 11% annual returns from 1992 to 2021. Now that beats out the S&P 500, real estate, and gold. So yes, we know farmland is extremely important, but why are billionaires buying them up? According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, they estimate that 30% of all farmland is owned by landlords who don't own them themselves. So you have a ton of farmers actually selling their farmlands to these billionaires under an LLC, of course. And these billionaires, they turn around and they rent out these family-owned farmers back to other farmers, and they just are collecting the rent. Because in the farming industry, a lot of farmers are asset rich, but unfortunately they're cash poor. And so when they come to a bind and they want to experience the fruit of their labors, they have to sell off their property in order to receive the cash from all the equipment, all the land, and all their processes and systems. A lot of farmers don't have the opportunity to just make a ton of cash from their business because they're always investing it back into the business, back into cattle, and back into everything, where they're usually breaking even a lot of the times. And so when they actually need cash, they look to these investors who are offering them cash money for their properties. And it's really appealing for them, and it's understandable for them to actually want to start using the money that they worked hard for all these years in order to live a better life. Out of the 911 million acres of farmland, around 39% of it is rented out by farmers, and 80% of that rented farmland is owned by a landlord who don't farm themselves, according to the agriculture department. So going into that, landlords and hedge funds and billionaires, the reason why they're buying up this farmland is, number one, it's a great hedge against inflation. As we all know, inflation is rising, and a lot of billionaires are looking for safe and consistent ways to invest their money, and farmland is just that thing. You know, energy costs are increasing, food costs are increasing, and so in order to directly benefit from food price increasing, why not invest in foods and the land that produces our food? And you know, farmland is a form of real estate, so it can be sort of passive, but not extremely passive. But they can just rent out their farmland to farmers and have the farmers be responsible for essentially everything, for the maintenance, for the upkeep, for taking care of the equipment and the different animals on the property. And it can be actually a good return on their money. The more out there opinion on why billionaires are trying to buy more farmland is just because of control. Now, this is not a theory I necessarily align with, but I just want to state it because I read some articles on people just talking about that the elite just wants more control. And if they can control one of the basic human needs, which is food, then that gives them more power in other areas of life. And that can also control how much food they send out to other countries. And that can be a power play in and of itself. And so that's a possibility with just more control of just human basic needs, which is a little bit scary, to be honest. I do believe it's just billionaires just trying to diversify their investments, and farmland is just another place to park their money as they just don't know what to do with all their billions of dollars. And so farmland is a good, viable investment instrument for them to do that. Now, one of the biggest persons buying up land is Bill Gates. And we'll talk about him more for the rest of this video. According to Bill Gates, one of the main reasons why he's buying up farmland is because of seed and biofuel development. He stated in an Ask Bill Gates question interview on Reddit that with more productive seeds, we can avoid deforestation and help Africa deal with climate difficulty they already face. It is unclear how cheap biofuels can be, but if they are cheap, it can solve the aviation and trucking emissions. Even though Bill Gates is one of the largest owners of farmland, he still owns less than 1% of all farmland across America. But as more and more billionaires buy up land and they own less than 1%, the amount of billionaires owning that will only increase their hold on the market. I think out of all the billionaires, Bill Gates seemed like the most aggressive in most recent years of buying up farmland. And it's just interesting just seeing this billionaire just wanting to buy up a ton of land. Actually, one of his farms is a potato farm, actually sells potatoes to McDonald's where they use them to process their French fries. Now, Bill Gates' aim and what he states that his companies are trying to do is just trying to help the economy by buying the farmland. So he's trying to use the nature, the land, in order to help climate change even in other countries, mainly in other countries. He's a big investor in fake meat in order to reduce the amount of carbon emitted by cattle that we use to slaughter and to make burgers and steaks, other meat products. But at the same time, some of his land still has a ton of cattle and still use heavy machinery and still emits a ton of carbon into the atmosphere and still produces a lot of pollution into the air. I was reading online and someone said that even though on one side Bill Gates seems like he is trying to save the world by buying up land to help other countries, but at the same time by buying up land, he's actually hurting the cause of helping climate change by buying up land. And so it's kind of like twofold. Like, okay, you're still using the land to do the things that every other farmer was doing, but at the same time, you're trying to help the climate and the environment, other things like that. So it's just something to consider. Like, what exactly are you buying this farmland for if it seems like it opposes your environmental causes and initiatives? Now, I believe us as average citizens, there's something that we can do with farmland. I know more and more families are just living off their little farm that they have in their backyard or their side yard. They have maybe an acre or two on their land and they're able to grow good crops and vegetables to make a lot of food for them and their family. Maybe they have a few cattle that they use for different meat or dairy products. And I think that's one of the main things that we can do as citizens if that's something that you can do. I think another thing that you can do if you're an investor and you're looking to invest as a farmland investor, instead of buying out farms, what you can do, you can invest in a real estate investment trust or a REIT. A few notable ones are Gladstone, or the ticker symbol is LAND, land. And also another one is called Farmland Partners. And both of those trusts, you can just go on whatever brokerage you use, type in their ticker symbol, and you can invest in farmland right away. And the good thing about these different trusts is that they own hundreds of thousands of land, acres of land, and farmlands that you can put your money into, and they actually offer a dividend. So if you're looking for more of a passive way to invest in farm in some sort of way, you can look and research different REITs, and those are just two of them that you can look up. Let me know what you all think about billionaires buying up farmland and just land across America. Is this actually a reason of concern? Should it raise some red flags among us? Or is this just another investment opportunity for the elite, or even for us to purchase and buy? Are you looking to have your own farmland and do different things? I would love to know down below. All right, make sure you all like this video and subscribe for some more awesome content. All right, talk to you all later.